easy for us to build something which is programmatic, which is a Hadoop at this point, than having a structure that you have already in place, right? So that's the way we look at that. And there are most cases we need both. We need the landline and also we need the mobile phone. So that's my case. So I need both of them to do that. So for me, I've got highly transactional data that I want to get the quick data on, the quick reporting on, and BI and insights that need to generate dashboards. They're all still in the structure that I bring them to the structure so I can have high concurrency use cases. And the social sentiment scores that I want, and all this kind of all kind of a social data that I'm processing, and all kinds of events that I'm processing, keep them in Hadoop so I can do multiple passes and multiple use cases flow through that. So that's about the big data. In the, is the time includes the question or the question after that? You know? Okay, if you can tell me, I can adjust accordingly. So, because I want to hold you all here. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is, what is the opportunity as I see it when it comes to big data? 5 minutes, I should start question in 5 minutes, or? Okay, good. So right now I show that 10 minutes, another 5 minutes. So let me talk about what is the opportunities there. This is based on what I'm seeing as a system within PayPal, and also the companies that I interact with, and also the small companies that I typically have a conversation with. I was talking about that this morning. The comparison that I made was, the big data development today is like building bridges. If you think about that, there is a large gap today in the big data space, or the data space. And if you look at the companies, think of, yes, great successful success story in the company that you think of, that, think of any company that you have. And if you look at that, how they are successful, especially in the internet space, they have done quite a bit of work. They made the data to be the priority. They had investment in the data. They have technology and talents to work on the data. And they took that data, not just create the insights on it, put that as part of their strategy, worked with their customer, make their customer make money so that they can make money. That is the ecosystem. If you look at multi-billion-dollar companies, and if the billion has 3 digits or more, if you look at them, they all have that company. It's an internet company, don't have anything to show as an asset. They are maybe 500 billion, 600 billion dollar companies. Look at them, that's what they have done. There may be one or two exceptions, don't hold me for that. I'm just trying to create a theme here, right? And is any one of the entrepreneurs here saying that I don't want my company to be $300 billion company? I don't think so, right? If that is the case, we shouldn't be here. Why everybody's not doing that? Do you think that's because they think data is not important? I don't think so. They don't have the capital the big companies could invest, throw 1,000 engineers to build the infrastructure and the platform for them to use, so they can create a query language to be used internally, right? So they don't have the capital investment or talent investment on that. Does that sound familiar? Is that typical for all technologies, right? Until the technology matures, until you have it available as a platform, there's quite a bit of cost involved in, quite a bit of talent that you need to put in. You need to train your own people. Not many companies can train 1,000 people to work on one problem that we have, right? So that is what the gap today. The gap is the companies can't afford to build that thing, so we need to build the platform for that So that is the bridge that we are talking about. Should everybody have to build a bridge to walk on the bridge or ride on the bridge? Not necessarily. Can people who build the bridge can go on top of the bridge? Absolutely, yes. So I think what I'm going to be challenging people in this room is, if you're thinking about big data, think of that building as a bridge, or using the bridge. This is an ecosystem. As more people use, there's more investment to build the bridge. More investment on the bridge, we can let a lot of people to ride on it, right? So there's an opportunity in two fronts. One is, if your strengths, or if you are fascinated about building technologies, building platforms, you are the bridge builder. Look at the space where you could fill that gap. It could be real-time analytics, it could be building some easy access, could be monitoring, could be security. I would like you, like the previous speaker said, I would like you to sit down and think about what is the gap that you are seeing and build that part of the frame so you can be part of it. And it's a huge opportunity now with the open source, with so many people focusing on this problem. There's a lot of people going to help us through. And if you look at the number of companies working on the big data space, if you put them on logos in a page, their logo in a page, I think it will run 3 or 4 pages on your PowerPoint. There's so many people on it. It's a good news and a bad news. You're going to have a lot of competition. Competition is good. And you have a lot of people working on the problem, so you have companies there that you can work with. So that is the opportunity there. Building a bridge, that means you're building a platform and trying to solve a specific problem. And on the other hand, you can definitely look at using that technology to solve your problem as well. And having said that, what I'm excited about the big data is, or Hadoop, is the open sourceness. There's so many vendors and partners helping the companies to thrive in that space. And this is a huge opportunity. And if you look at that, data is an asset for the companies, especially those companies that we're talking about, the successful companies, they took that as an asset. And in a typical cycle, I'm going to oversimplify this. You collect the data, aggregate the data, analyze the data, and generate insights and generate value from there. It's a 5-step process. Most of the company, except for the few that they were able to master this and created a lot bigger value for the data, are stuck in 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I think we as entrepreneurs need to look at that life cycle and see where is the gap, where we can build a bridge. And in my mind, and in my view, entrepreneurship is all about finding the gaps and building the bridge. Not just for money, not just for satisfaction, doing good overall. That's what we are all about. So let me pause here, and if we have any questions, we can take few questions later.
Thank you for your insights. My name is Dilip. Me and my co-founder Hari have been working on a project for the past 1.5 years. So I think you're the right person to actually suggest us whether we are going in the right direction. The space that we're working on is to help B2B vendors minimize their sales funnel process.
B2B, person to person?
No, B2B, business to
B2B, okay.
vendors. And we are specifically targeting pharma and life sciences industry.
Pharma, okay.
So our idea is to see, if we can project data in terms of user actions, how many people are actually accessing the content which is published by them or their associates. Use that data as a kind of index, not just the one that we normally find using Google search, but there is a lot of internet that is beyond the reach of Google spiders. So we are trying to see if we can aggregate the content and the user actions that are basically surrounding that particular content. And if we can build some meaningful information using those user interactions, would that make sense to a B2B vendor? Do you think there is a space in big data in that angle?
I would, I'm not an expert in the pharma space, so okay. I'm not an expert in the pharma space, so I may not be able to advise you specifically with that. I would ask, what is the value of that, right? And who is going to be the user? Are you having some customers in mind? Do you have an opportunity to work with them? I think the customer, there's quite a bit of innovation that you need to bring in. It's maybe a great idea, but I would take a customer and drive the innovation with them. And that's what I advise some of the startups in saying, well, take a customer and try to sit with them and trying to find out how this is going to solve that problem before even putting a value to that. So if you have not done that, I would strongly suggest, work with one or two people in that space to find the value. Otherwise, it's very difficult to evaluate that there's a value or not. And if that's what your gut says, this is what the space that you want to solve, and this is great, but at some point that you need to validate with it. Okay? But sounds interesting though.
Yeah, I just want to find out what is the market potential of big data very specific to India. I think that question has come somewhere from there, but I don't think that was answered. So can you please emphasize on that?
Sure. Let me tell you, let me tell you what PayPal, which is in my control. We are investing quite a bit on the big data here in India. The reason for that is India is our center of excellence for the data that we provide to our merchants. Starting from the merchant reporting, we are in payment processing, so we have to give them a ledger, close up books so that they can close their books and all this kind of stuff, from the daily to annual reports to quarterly reports and whatnot, various reports that we have, like any other payment processing vendor or financial institution. So all those things comes in and trying to provide the analytics. All things happens based on our here in the center, so it's a center of excellence. So we bring in quite a bit of Hadoop knowledge and technology into our space. And what is the penetration of Hadoop in India as an industry? I have not looked at that, so I may not be a good source for you to give you that information.
I have a question.
Yes.
We have been reading a lot of articles in terms of companies migrating from MapReduce to Hyderabad. Is this same with PayPal, or you are still using MapReduce or the Hyderabad? Have you been migrating some other technologies? And also in terms of the usage of machine learning, at least you work with a lot of startups and special projects. Do people in India at least learn or they really implement machine learning algorithms, like say supported machines, mail-based neural networks, or maybe the new technology of deep learning? Is these things even being used in India?
Sure. Let me address your first one. If I forget the second question, I'll ask you again. In terms of a MapReduce, we still have MapReduce. I started having Hadoop in production in a commercial the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years now. So at that time, we didn't have any choice as a MapReduce. Here with the PayPal, I've been here with PayPal for 2 years. And we started with the MapReduce. But there are technologies available today which will be on a higher level that you would, it's easier to program and all this kind of stuff. Don't have to have a lot more details that like a MapReduce would do. And as we get into the higher level abstractions, we are getting into the higher level abstractions because it makes sense for us to do. It's more of a maintainability and easy to maintain. But still, there are places where we want to have the performance, we want to have much more control. That's where we'll continue to use the MapReduce, right? And the second part of it, data sciences. We have been working with a couple of partners that would provide a platform for us to do a lot more data science kind of applications on top of it. Because today, if you want to do that directly on Hadoop 2.0 or even any of the vendor provided Hadoop systems. There's quite a lot of work to be done in data preparation, getting the data ready. So we know we have been doing something internally, but we have partnered now. Instead of building internally, partner with a company who will provide those kind of abstraction on top of that. So with that, what we get is a standard set of algorithms that we can provide, a standard set of the systems that we can get with it. And we build that on top of that. In terms of machine learning is quite an interesting space that we have invested quite a bit on it. And we do that for multiple reasons. One, to create a better experience for the consumers, and also for us to do a better precision that we can get with our fraud prevention and risk management in those areas that we have been using that. And especially in India, we have the teams both in the US and India doing a lot more with the data. And also we do constantly research with the academia as well to bring in new techniques and technology into our system. And we are one of the big R user as well, and we continue to invest more on the R as well. Does that answer the question?
Thanks. I have a question.
Sure.
So we have built a platform called Aggregation and Distribution Mobile. We call it ADAM, and the industry we are targeting is transport and logistics industry.
Okay.
We are trying to solve fuel, add security to the goods or the people traveling, and save cost and time through automation.
Okay.
The problem, the challenge is there's only 10% of technology penetration in this industry in any developing country, not just India.
Yes.
And 80% of transport happens by road. Now, as a startup, for me, the availability of data is limited. Should I be looking at Internet of Things? I mean, before I skip to my question, we have tried SAP HANA, we have tried Azure, SQL, and so now we are paying customers, but still the problem is not solved. We're still not yet there where we are actually wanting to be. The question is, should I be looking at Internet of Things, digitizing the data? Like, how can I get the data out of a moving vehicle onto my communication server so I could make something out of it? So there can be a decision made later on.
Right.
Should I be focusing on Internet of Things, digitizing the data, or should I just use what is there and then try to solve a problem?
And you just said you don't have much data there, right? If you want to have more data, I think people are not going to sit down and give you the data that you need while they're moving in the car. I think you should definitely think about getting it in an automated way. Internet of Things may be a good way to do that. Is that something that you can hook onto GPS systems, or is there anything that you can partner with them? So there's a good partnership opportunity that you have. And when you try to monetize that, we can help you from the PayPal, how we can get you paid from those people who are using it. Same thing with the pharma B2B as well. When you're ready to bill your customers, we can help you with the payment side of it. But coming back to you, we have to think through that a little bit. I would say a good opportunity to partner to Internet of Things, because it's very difficult to put in a new device in the vehicle. You need to see how we can tap into the existing source of data that you have. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll get in touch with you. Thanks.
Okay.
Hi.
I think we'll just take any more questions offline.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.